This is my iPad Air, and it's running full desktop Kali Linux, not iPad OS. In this video, I'll show you exactly how I installed it, what actually works, what doesn't, and whether this setup is genuinely usable. Let's start with a quick real-world walkthrough. So this is the Kali desktop. As you can see, it comes with all the standard Kali tools, reconnaissance tools, exploitation tools, and full command line utilities, exactly like you'd see on a normal desktop install. Let me open Thunar. This is the default Kali Linux file manager, and it works just like it does on a laptop. You can browse directories, move files, and access the full Linux file system. If I open the file system properties, you can see the storage usage. This setup takes around 14 gigabytes in total, and around 55% is still free. So realistically, you can install Kali with roughly 10 to 12 gigabytes of free space, but you'll need a bit more during setup because of the package files. Now let me open Firefox. Web browsing works fine. Pages load normally, scrolling is smooth enough, and basic browsing isn't a problem. Next, let's try something more practical. I'm going to clone a Git repository and run a command line workflow. This is a script I wrote earlier to install Ubuntu on an Android terminal. Let me copy the repository link and clone it inside Kali. It's throwing an error here because I already cloned this repository earlier. That's expected. Let me create a new directory and clone it again. And as you can see, it works properly. Command line tools behave exactly like you'd expect. Scripts run, Git works, and package management works. From a Linux point of view, this is a real environment. Now, before anyone gets the wrong idea, let's be very clear about what this actually is. This is not replacing iPad OS. This is not native access to iPad hardware. And this is not a pen testing replacement for a real Kali machine. This is a virtual machine running inside a sandboxed environment, fully within Apple's rules. That means no direct hardware access, no Wi-Fi injection, no monitor mode, and no USB tools. If you're expecting laptop-level Kali features, this is not that. So what does make sense on this setup? This is good for learning Linux, practicing terminal commands, testing scripts, and understanding Kali tools in a lab-style environment. It's not meant for real-world pen testing or field work. Think of this more as a learning and experimentation setup, not a hacking machine. Performance-wise, it's okay. Not amazing, not terrible. Simple tasks run fine. The terminal is responsive. Basic tools work without much lag. But once you start opening multiple applications or pushing heavier workloads, you'll feel the limits pretty quickly. Also, using Linux on a touchscreen is not ideal. You really need a keyboard and mouse for this to feel usable. So, yes, it works, but it's not exactly enjoyable to use on an iPad. Personally, I found Arch Linux without a graphical interface on an iPad to be more practical than Kali with a desktop environment. I've already made a video on that if you're interested. Now, if you still want to install Kali Linux on your iPad or iPhone, here's how it works. We're going to use an app called UTM SE Retro PC Emulator, which is officially available on the App Store. This app runs virtual machines inside a secure sandbox and doesn't modify the system in any way. Everything stays within Apple's guidelines. First, open the App Store and download UTM SE. Once you open it, tap the plus icon. You'll see options like creating a new machine or opening an existing one. UTM SE also provides pre-built virtual machines. These are ready-to-use Linux images designed specifically for iPhone and iPad. Tap Open UTM SE Gallery, and you'll see a list of available operating systems. For this video, I'm choosing Kali Linux. After downloading, you'll get a zip file. Extract it, then tap the UTM SE image file. It will automatically import and configure itself as a virtual machine. Before starting it, you can adjust performance settings. Once that's done, save the configuration and press Start. And Kali Linux boots up. So what's the conclusion? It works. And it's impressive that something like this is possible on an iPad. But it's still a compromise. It's great for learning, experimenting, and curiosity. It's not something you'd use as a daily computer or a serious Kali workstation. Still, it shows how powerful modern iPad hardware has become, even with Apple's restrictions. If this video helped you understand what Kali Linux on an iPad really looks like, hit the like button. If you enjoy these kinds of experiments, Linux, operating systems, and pushing devices beyond their limits, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.